A strike is looming at ports along the east and Gulf coasts that could cost the American economy billions of dollars per day and potentially lead to shortages for consumers.
A strike of this magnitude would cripple the U.S. economy.
Dock workers represented by the International Longshoremen's Association are threatening to go on strike Tuesday. The strike would affect 45,000 workers and close to 36 ports from Texas to Maine. Analysts warn a walkout lasting more than a week could lead to major supply chain disruptions. Anything imported could be delayed, including fresh produce, toys, alcohol, and vehicles and parts. Some experts warning if you need your car repaired, get to the dealership now.
If there's a prolonged strike, you could see shortages with fresh fruits and vegetables. Obviously, the automotive parts sector will be impacted.
The Port Workers Union is demanding higher wages and a ban on automated cranes, gates, and trucks. The U.S. Maritime Allowance, representing the ports, claims the union isn't bargaining in good faith. The Maritime Alliance has filed an unfair labor practice charge with the National Labor Relations Board in hopes of getting the union back to the bargaining table before Tuesday's contract deadline. Andrea Fujii, ABC News, New York.
All right, shalom, shalom. As you see, well, first and foremost, before I get into it, I want to give our honor, glory, and praises to the Heavenly Father above and the Lashwan Kudash, which is the Holy Hebrew tongue, by saying Kal, Halalayim, Lahawa, Alahai Nawa, Yahweh Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem, Ha, Rakakadash, Ma'amat. Double honors to the elders, apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well. I want to give another double honors to my elder, Herwan by Yasha'Allah, the Lions Den Camp of Yasha'Allah. Peace and blessings to all the men, women, and children that believe in sincerity and truth around the four corners of this earth. As you know it, we are in the times where the Most High is bringing judgment upon this earth. All right, our salvation is nearer than when we first believed, man. We're starting to see that he's getting ready to bring famines, for one, pestilence, plagues. You got wars going on pertaining to over there, the Middle East, dealing with, the land over there with Gaza. You got China, Russia, Iran. You got the BRICS nations coming together with their own form of currency. So as we see that means America's turning to a third world country, and all its allies, it's a lot of division right now, man, for as far as the war. Like, our people are walking around in a blind state of mind, not paying attention to what's really going on around them, because they so distracted with the riches of this place, the pride of life, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, things of that nature, to where they cannot attain to wise counsels and receive the wisdom of the Lord, which ultimately is going to lead them to realizing the truth that our people have been lied to, our people have been deceived, all right, by this place America, because this place America, it was built off deceit, deceitfulness, all right, slavery, all right, wickedness, lies, philosophies, all these other religions, so-called. So America, this place is full of confusion, and it's a wicked place. All right, that's why the Lord is bringing judgment upon this place, because the sins of this place have reached up to the heavens, and the Most High is looking down, and he's angry with the wicked every day. All right, so nevertheless, let's get a prophecy, right, from the book of Revelations, the 18th chapter. But before I do that, let's go here to the book of Ezekiel. All right. Starting at verse 11. It says, "Wherefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, surely because thou hast defiled my sanctuary with all thy detestable things, right? Esau, defiling the Lord's people, all right, with all his abominations over here. Got all our people worshiping idols, giving them a false god to pray to, not letting them know that, they are God's chosen people, all right? So, but treating them as if they're not the people of the Lord, all right? And with all thine abominations continuing on, therefore will I also diminish thee, neither shall my eye spare, neither will I have any pity. All right. All right. In the NLT, it says, I will show you no pity at all, because you have defiled my temple with your vile images and detestable sins. Right. They practice iconoclasm. They whitewashed all the images. All right. They put up their gods as if they're God. All right. When really our God is a so-called black man, all right, from the tribe of Judah, so-called Negro, the God of Israel. And he's coming to deliver 1/3 and 144,000 of his people from the said perils, all right? And 2/3 are going to be destroyed. They're going to be cut off, and they're going to die or be unalive, all right, by the Lord, according to Zechariah, the book of Zechariah. So, Ezekiel 5:12, a third part of thee shall die with thee, with the pestilence, and with famine shall they be consumed in the midst of thee. And a third part shall fall by the sword round about, right? Those missiles, those ICBM missiles, the intercontinental ballistic missiles, 200 million of them that's going to get shot off in the midst of World War III. All right? Because the main judgment is going to take place over here in America. All right? And there's America, spiritually Sodom, spiritually Egypt, spiritually Nineveh, all right, the daughter of Babylon. This place of the heathen is never going to be inhabited. It's like, again, it says, let me start over. A third part of thee shall die with the pestilence and with famine, right, that's the 2/3, shall they be consumed in the midst of thee. And a third part shall fall by the sword round about, and I will scatter a third part into all the winds, and I will draw out a sword after them. All right, in the NLT, a third of your people will die in the city from disease and famine. A third of them will be slaughtered by the enemy outside the city walls. And I will scatter a third to the winds. All right, the enemy being Esau, Edom. All right, and these heathen nations, man. The Gerber troops that's going to come in like a flood. When the enemy should come in like a flood, the Lord is going to provide for his elect. And his 1/3, he's going to protect them. He's going to make sure they have substance in those things, food, water, drinks, whatever that's going to sustain them to get by in those times. All right? In the midst of famine, in the midst of pestilence, in the midst of, all right, Jacob's trouble, the Lord is going to have protection around those that belong to him. So, which we seeing a strike to where they're talking about 45,000 people may lose their job because of what's going on out there, man, relating to the economy circling the drain at a rapid rate. This place is getting put out of business. Okay? So a third part, Salakia, and I will scatter a third to the winds, right, the destruction, the destroying wind, chasing them with my sword. Then at the last, my anger will be spent, and I will be satisfied, and when my fear against them have subsided, all Israel know that I, the Lord, have spoken to them in my jealous anger. All right? But let's grab this in the book of Revelations. Because our people, they don't like to hear the law of the Lord. So the Lord is going to number them to the sword for choosing the things where he delight not in, such as following the ways of the heathen and trying to be like these other nations. So they're going to reap the judgment that's going to come upon this place, and upon them for trusting in the shadow of Egypt. All right? but not trusting in the Lord. You know, they trust in oppression. They trust in this man's system, Esau Edom. All right. They trust in the government. They trust in your White House, your presidents, the militaries, this banking system, all right, their religious system. They trust in all of this. All right. So let's start at verse 1, going to that prophecy. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. All right, everything that seems to be luxury of this place. All right, while people find comfort in. All right, and then you have these other nations who was once in agreement with America, Babylon the Great. All right, but now, not so much more, because they have bilateral and multilateral agreements, which is deals without the dollar. All right, and then Brazil, Russia, China, Iran, South Africa, and all those other countries. You have other nations outside of them joining the BRICS nations, where they have their own form of currency. In America, only form of currency is going to be the RFID chip, Mod B, Revelations 13-16. All right, so America's, is being cut off, and it's ultimately happening for a reason, because of America have deceived these nations through deception of that dollar. All right, ever since 1971, Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard, so I haven't been backed by gold. All right, it's just fiat currency. It's funny money, and it's circling the drain. It's circling the economy right now. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, spiritually, depart from this place, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh have remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works, in the cup which she have filled to her double. All right, that's what's going to come back upon her, America. All right, the penalty for all her evil deeds. How much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously, so much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death, and mourning, and famine, and she shall be utterly burnt with fire. For strong is the Lord Yahweh who judgeth her, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication, right? All right, these other nations, and live deliciously with her, shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, because America's going to get burnt up pretty soon. Standing afar off for the fearful torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment coming. 1 hour is all it's going to take for this place to be burnt up. All right. Now in the NLT, after that, all right, what I just read, let's read this. It says, the merchants of the earth will weep and mourn for her, for there is no one left to buy their goods. She brought great quantities of gold, silver, jewels, and pearls, fine linen, purple, silk, and scarlet cloth, things made of fragrant Thyine wood, ivory goods, and objects made of expensive wood, and bronze, iron, and marble. She also bought cinnamon, spice, incense, myrrh, frankincense, wine, olive oil, fine flour, wheat, cattle, sheep, horses, chariots, and bodies that is human slaves. All right. America had our people brought over here on cargo slave ships, man. You know, they had the slave trade that existed. All right. So the fancy things you love so much are gone. They cry. Salakia, verse 14. It says, and the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. The merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for the fearful torment, weeping and wailing, and saying, alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet, right, all luxurious, all right, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught, and every shipmaster and all the company and ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, alas, alas, that great city, wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness. All right. It says the ship owners became wealthy by transporting her great wealth on the seas. So everyone that got rich off this place, America, for in 1 hour she made desolate. All right. So the Lord is going to, it says, rejoice, verse 20, over her, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for Yahweh have avenged you on her. All right. So the Lord is going to avenge his people that sign the crime for all abominations that be done in the midst of this place. All right. Being under the oppression, all right, of these heathens. All right. Being in bondage, being in slavery, you know, having to work and so forth and so forth. You know, and they taking the taxes out your check before you even get your check, and just, you know, dealing with what goes on in this place. The Lord is going to avenge his elect for all the blood, sweat, and tears they have put into this place. All right. The afflictions, the sufferings, everything they have went through on this side, it's not going to compare to the glory that's going to be revealed to them in the kingdom. All right, when Yahweh Shah set up his rulership. Okay. Verse 21, and the mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and should be found no more at all. And a voice, let's see right here in NLT, the sound of harps, singers, flutes, and trumpets will never be heard in you again. No craftsmen and no trades will ever be found in you again. The sound of the mill will never be heard in you again. All right, working. All right. That KJV, it says, and the voice of harpers and musicians and of pipers and trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee, and no craftsman or whatsoever craft he be shall be found any more in thee, and the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee. Okay. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee, for thy merchants were the great men of the earth. For by thy sorceries were all nations deceived, and in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints and of all that were slain upon the earth. All right. And this is why Yahweh Shah is coming back to avenge this place, man. Taking this place down, taking this place through the drain, so that he can glorify his people once again. All right, because 2/3 of our people are going to die, man. And only a small remnant is going to return in the midst of these calamities. So bear with me one sec while I grab this scripture. They shall eat in astonishment. Bear with me right here. Ezekiel 4:16. Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, behold, I will break the staff of bread in Jerusalem, and they shall eat bread by weight and with care, and they shall drink water by measure and with astonishment, that they may want bread and water, and be astonied one with another, and consume away for their iniquity. The NLT, let's read that. Then he told me, Son of man, I will make food very scarce in Jerusalem. It will be weighed out with great care and eaten fearfully. The water will be rationed out drop by drop, and the people will drink it with dismay. Lacking food and water, people will look at one another in terror, and they will waste away under their punishment. So you how I wrote this out, this video, so this purpose. So next time, I say shalom.